Hello, and welcome back to the Healing Grounds. In the last two videos, I mentioned the topic of something I've heard repeatedly over the years, which is my situation is different. We're going to talk about that today. If you're new, welcome, and let's get on to the topic. We are going to do something a little different today, though. Usually, I gather my thoughts over the weekend and sort of write up a script around them. This weekend, I did not have time to do that, so this will be more of a stream of consciousness video today, using only the bullet points I was able to gather over the weekend. So, my situation is different, is something I've seen people say more times than I can count. And I don't want to be dismissive of that. Maybe it was, but I don't know your specific situation, but the sheer number of times I have seen people tell me their situation really was different and it almost never was is the whole point I'm trying to get to. What I usually see, someone is broken up with, they're hurting, they're looking for answers, and somewhere in the first few minutes of some YouTube video like this one, or in a Reddit community or some other online space, they hear something like give them space or focus on yourself or don't reach out, go no contact. And almost immediately, a voice in the back of their head pipes up and says, yeah, but that doesn't really apply to my situation. My situation is different, so I think I can get them back. And I get it because when you're in the middle of a breakup, everything about it feels singular. It feels like nobody has ever loved somebody quite the way you loved this person. And there is no one else like that person who you can ever love the same. Like the specific combination of cosmic circumstances that brought the two of you together and that tore you apart is so unique that this generalized advice just doesn't apply to you the same way it does to everybody else. And that feeling that you're having is real. But I want to tell you that the natural conclusion that you think that the feeling leads to isn't. So here are some situations I want to give you, and let's see if they feel familiar. Maybe the two of you were together since high school, your high school sweethearts. Or you grew up together, you've been friends since you were 5. Or this person was there before you knew who you were as an adult. And in a lot of ways, the two of you figured that out together. Maybe you were together for a quarter or a third or even half of your life, maybe more. And that is not an insignificant amount of time. That is a history that most people don't ever have with another person. Maybe you have kids together, and that means this person is not just your ex, but they're a permanent fixture in your life, whether either of you wants that or not. So you can't do full no contact. You have to talk to them. You have to coordinate. You have to negotiate or show up in the same spaces at sports games or dance or whatever the situation is. So this generalized advice almost feels laughable to you. Maybe you work together in the same building or on the same floor, maybe even on the same team, and you see their name in your email inbox before you've even had your first coffee or open up your spreadsheets. You have to pass them in the hallways or run into them in the same break room. You sit in the same meetings, even, and pretending they don't exist just feels impossible. Maybe you share a friends group or a lease or a pet or a car or the two of you own a business together. Maybe they were there for you when you went through something extremely trying in your life, something very hard, very traumatic that changed you as a person. And it feels like the two of yours bonds run deeper than a regular relationship because it was forged in something deep. Every version of why the situation is different than every other breakup, I have heard it. And what do I know? Maybe it is. But what I want you to understand about all of that, without dismissing it, is that while all of those things might be true, for the vast majority of you, none of these things changes the prescription. Think of it like this: two people break their leg. One falls off a ladder. One got in a car accident. They're completely different stories, totally different levels of trauma, entirely unique experiences of pain, and the treatment is still a cast. The bone still needs the same amount of time to heal, regardless of how dramatic the cause of the break was. The doctor is not dismissing your experience when he puts the same cast on you that he put on the last person. He's treating the injury, not the story. And your brain doesn't love this answer. Your brain is going to want to build a case for why your specific story means that you should get a different cast than the last guy. And it's not because your brain is right, it's because the cast is uncomfortable, and our brains are very good at finding reasons to avoid uncomfortable things. Your ex told you, maybe not in these exact words, but in no uncertain terms, that they don't see a romantic future with you right now. That doesn't necessarily mean ever, but at least right now. And right now, the only thing that's actually in your control is what you do with that information. So let's talk about why the situations that people bring up the most are not any different. Because I don't want to wave these things away. The kids one, having kids comes up a lot. And it's definitely, no doubt, complicated, right? You do have to talk to this person. You don't get a clean break that a lot of other people get. But no contact is still the answer, with a little bit of a caveat. There's a version of no contact that is about your kids, and a version that's about your relationship. And the two of those things are not the same in conversation. One of them is necessary. The other one is you using a necessary conversation as an excuse for a different conversation entirely. You can text about pickup times, or coordinate schedules, or talk about school or sports, or just whatever for the kids. The moment it shifts towards the breakup, or towards getting back together, or I just need you to understand how I'm feeling right now, that's not co parenting anymore. You know the difference, and don't lie to yourself about it. The work situation is its own form of difficulty because you certainly can't just walk away from your job, right? It's definitely not that simple. You have to go to work. You have to hold yourself together at work and act professional while sitting 10 feet away from this person who completely turned your life upside down. If there's any legitimate way to create a distance, maybe a different shift or a different department or a different project, take it. Not as like this big grand dramatic gesture, just quietly take it for your own sake. And if you can't, and you can't avoid proximity entirely, keep it short. Keep it work related. You don't have to be cold, don't be a dick, just be a colleague. Remember that the ex is not your enemy. They're just a person who you happen to have a history with. So you treat them like any other person. The friends group, this one's easy. Your friends are not your ex's property, and they're not yours either. Don't demand loyalty from them. Don't force anyone into the middle of this. Don't talk about the breakup or ask them how your ex is doing. Just stay in your own lane. If they do bring up the breakup, because friends do sometimes, stop them. Say something like, "Hey, I appreciate you trying to help, but I don't want to hear about them right now." It's that simple. Or maybe there's a get together, and when you show up, or you're not sure that you want to show up, but maybe you do show up and your ex shows up at the same time. If it's too hard, leave. You don't owe anyone an explanation, but your mutual friends don't belong to you or your ex. Short of any extreme circumstances, maybe like abuse. If your ex was abusive to you and your friends know this and they choose to remain friends with them, it may be time to invest in finding new friends. In that case, you let people do what they want to do so you can see what they'd rather do. The bond that goes deeper than just time together, the one formed in trauma. This one is where the person was there during something hard, a loss, a major health scare, a period of your life that formed you or shaped you into who you are today, or at least were before the breakup. And they didn't just witness it from the outside, they were actually in it with you. That is legitimately a different type of attachment. It's it's not just romantic love. It's the feeling that this person knows you in a way that most people never will. And maybe that losing them is not just losing a partner, but actually losing the one person who was a witness to a version of yourself that nobody else saw. That they were a piece of you. And I don't want to minimize that. It is one of the most painful versions of that, or of this, that exists. But what I want to keep coming back to is that the intimacy or the depth of what you shared, it doesn't override their decision. It doesn't give you a claim on their future. Just because they were part of your past doesn't mean they have to be part of your future. That bond was real and the love was real, and they still made the decision they made. Those things can both be true at the same time, as unfair as that feels. I do also want to talk about something else specific, another bullet point here, because this one comes up constantly as an excuse to break no contact, and I think it needs to be said very plainly. Belongings. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's been 3 months since the breakup. You open up your closet and there's their hoodie right there. Or you're cleaning the bathroom and there's a bottle of their perfume or cologne sitting in there. And suddenly now you have a reason to reach out, and that feels completely legitimate. Maybe they want this back. I'm just being considerate. This isn't about the breakup. This is just me being practical. It's not just being considerate, and it doesn't change your situation from stay in no contact and focus on yourself to you should definitely reach out to them. If they needed that hoodie, they would have asked for it. If that bottle of perfume was important to them, they would have come back for it. 5 months have passed, 3 months have passed, whatever it's been, they have moved through their life without that item just fine. That item is not the point. You're using that item as a key and you're looking for a lock that it fits. Put the hoodie in a bag, put it in the back of your closet, give it to a friend to hold on to, donate it. Do the same with whatever else is sitting around in your space reminding you of them. You don't have to throw it away, but you do need to stop using it as a reason to make no contact, or rather to make contact that you already know you shouldn't be making. My view on my situation is different. Um, there's a belief that I think is worth noting. It's it's not intrinsically dishonest. You're not lying to yourself on purpose. Your brain is doing what we talked about in the last video. It's looking for an off ramp. It's scanning for the one circumstance or the one singular detail or a specific exception that makes the hard thing not apply to you. Because the hard thing is hard. And our brains are very, very good at finding reasons to avoid doing hard things. It's like being told the road is closed and you need to take the detour. And instead of turning around, you slow down and you squint at the sign and think, well, maybe it's just closed for maintenance, or maybe it's something small and that the work, there's no trucks over there. The work hasn't even started yet. I can get through anyway. The rules have to be different from my car. The road is closed. The sign means what it says. And the long way around, as much as it feels like it's costing you something, is the only road that actually gets you to where you're trying to go. So that is all I have for today. If this resonated, or if you're sitting there thinking your situation actually is the exception, drop me a comment. Tell me what's going on. Sometimes the most useful thing is to just say it out loud. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.